To you
Be the first to know.
Call TV News.
From the north, south, east, west, and around Africa, we break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are Call TV News.
Welcome to Call TV
24-hour news station.
It's a beautiful Tuesday morning here in Lagos, and when I say beautiful, I mean beautiful. Now, the front pages of the papers show somewhat beauty, some kind of beauty for the first time in a long time. They say bad story sells, but this time around, the good news is that the WHO finally certified Nigeria as Ebola virus disease free, and this is coming 42 days after this. There was no new case of Ebola. That's a 2 cycles. You know, the virus has a 21-day cycle, and 42 days afterwards, no single case of the Ebola virus was discovered in Nigeria. And it's a big thumbs up from the Vanguard newspaper. You see the front page of Happy Man. I mean, the outgoing ministers of information, the outgoing minister of health, as well as the country representative of WHO, all of them, all in smiles, you know, all congratulating each other and indeed celebrating Nigeria. The good news is that Nigeria has defeated Ebola, and that's been certified by the WHO. Now, what the FG and Atiku and Lagos and Rivers State governments are saying, it's a major milestone. Jonathan calls for sustained war against disease. Lagos pledges 50 million naira to First Consultants Medical Center. Now, of course, the front page of the Punch seems to capture it a little bit better. You see, indeed, Nigerians happy, celebrating, and for the first time. Now, it occurred to me recently when I found out that an Ebola virus case also was discovered in the United States as well as Spain. And you even hear lawmakers in the faraway United States criticizing the Barack Obama-led administration of how it's handling the Ebola virus. Come on. I mean, America has to send delegates to Nigeria to learn from us how and what exactly we did to be totally free of this deadly virus. So that's it, all smiles, men proud. And at this time, we must also, no doubt, give kudos to the sacrifices made by medical practitioners in Nigeria. Remember Datevo, the woman, the female doctor who literally physically combated with the index case, the Liberian American who happens to be an ambassador, and she insisted that you are not going to leave this hospital because you have symptoms of the Ebola virus disease. Only God knows what would have happened if that man eventually left that hospital facility. Of course, we're also hearing that the Lagos State government has pledged 50 million naira for the First Consultant Hospital. Kudos to Nigerians, kudos to our health practitioners, kudos to the state governments involved as well as the federal government. Now, there's a lot of talks these days as regards what factor particularly was responsible for the kind of unity we enjoyed as a nation. I mean, with all the corruption, with all the poverty, with all the ups and downs that we experience every other day, how much we came together. Many have attributed this to the fact that there is no immunity whatsoever for Ebola. Whether you are Mr. President or Mr. Governor, whether you are PDP or APC, you didn't have a choice. The fact that you are a card-carrying member of a particular political party doesn't immunize you against the scourge of Ebola. And this many have attributed to the source of inspiration that made people to come together across political, ethnic, as well as religious divides to join hands together and fight the scourge. Now, many have also said that if we put the same inspiration, the same attitude, and we channel it to every other aspect of the nation, then we'll get results. Let me quickly show you the distribution. It has there's a picture on The Guardian. I believe that the MCR will put that on your screen any moment from now. And it shows the Ebola virus epidemic in West Africa. Now, the total cases here is 9,216. And, of course, 4,546 deaths in West Africa. This graph here, more like a map diagram shows you Senegal, which also had been declared Ebola free earlier, has 1 case and no death at all. Guinea had 1,519 cases and 862 deaths. Sierra Leone has 3,410 cases and, of course, at 1,200 deaths. Liberia, 4,262 and 2,484 deaths. Nigeria had 19 cases and we suffered 7 deaths. Okay. Lots of reactions coming in from different quarters, political leadership, quite a number of people giving kudos to Nigeria as a government. In a short while, we're going to be joined by a medical practitioner to actually ask the question if we are free indeed. Is it Uhuru for Nigeria? Should we go all out now, shaking hands, hugging people? Should we forget our hand sanitizers at home? Should we forget about the hand washing and all of that that got us on the toes, on our toes, you know, when Ebola was at its crescendo in this part of the world. But I'm going to play a report, a sound bite, and it's from Mr. President, actually from his spokesman, Ruben Abati. Let's hear what Mr. President has to say in response to WHO officially certifying Nigeria as Ebola free. I'll be back with you after this. Don't go away.
President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan welcomes to this declaration by the World Health Organization that Nigeria is now officially Ebola-free after 42 days without any incidents of the Ebola virus disease. President Jonathan dedicates the certification to the many patriotic health workers, volunteers, and ordinary Nigerians who work tirelessly, some of them paying the ultimate price in the process, to stop the deadly virus in its tracks after it entered the country in July this year. He believes that Nigeria's globally acclaimed success against Ebola is a testimony to what Nigerians can achieve if they set aside their differences and work together, and he calls on Nigerians to strive to replicate the unity of purpose and the all-hands-on-deck approach adopted against Ebola in other areas of national life. As the nation applauds the success of its collective effort to stop the transmission of the Ebola virus within Nigeria, however, President Jonathan warns that the entire country must remain fully alert and vigilant against the re-entry of the virus.
Well, Mr. President is proud, just like you and I are. And in a short while, we're going to open the phone lines for you. I'd love to hear from you in particular how you feel as a Nigerian, the fact that we are officially free from Ebola, and as well as what you think were the factors that were responsible for all of this. Okay, we're joined now on telephone by a medical practitioner, Dr. Adegoke Kende. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today, Doctor. Good morning, Doctor.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you for joining us on Call Digest.
Yeah, okay, good morning, Call Digest.
It's all right. How do you feel, especially as a medical practitioner and as a Nigerian, when WHO certified us as Ebola-free yesterday?
Sorry, I'm not hearing you very well, but I know you're talking about Nigerian clearance of Ebola by WHO. I think I should congratulate us as a nation, but all the same, we shouldn't rest on our oars. We have to be up and doing. We need to maintain the hygienic culture. We need to maintain the hygienic culture and also keep watch on our borders. We need to keep watch on our borders, but we also need to look out against other hemorrhagic viral challenges like Lassa fever. I learned there is an outbreak of Lassa fever in Ibadan and the environment, so we need to watch out so that that one does not become a serious epidemic again. So we need to work on that, and I believe when we maintain the hygienic culture, and also wash our borders, then we can remain free of Ebola,
Okay.
Ebola virus, and the challenges that we'll be having about our members of our national traveling to other parts of the world and having issues will
Okay.
not be there any longer. They will have that respect for us as a nation, and we should also be our brothers keeper. Our nation should try and help our brothers in West African nations like Liberia and the rest of them that are still seriously facing the challenges.
It's all right.
And we should know that we as a nation, we travel a lot. I mean, our citizens travel a lot. We should watch out the conferences we attend, the business meetings we attend. We should not just all go all the way out to embrace anybody anyhow.
It's all right. Doctor.
If we stick to all this, we will stay free.
Okay, doctor, can you hear me now? Hello, doctor.
I think I'm hearing you. Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, what exactly can you identify as the factors that were responsible for our success as a nation in the fight against Ebola?
Yeah, the factor for our success that I can see is that we all work together as a team. We all did work together as a team. Both state and federal government, local government, we all work together as a team. If only we can operate the same team spirit, I believe we'll be able to arrest the issue of insurgents. And any other thing facing us as a nation, we did not politicize it. We are fond of politicizing issues, challenges in this country. If we stop politicizing issues and we treat them as people, I believe nothing will be able to stop us. If we all learn to speak the same language, I'm not talking about tribal language, but I'm talking about having the same philosophy, the same mentality as we did approach the Ebola virus challenge.
It's
If
all right.
we focus that way, nothing will be able to stand before us as a nation.
It's all right.
Thank you.
Okay, doctor, just before we let you go, what happens to the hand washing, the handshaking, the bushmeat? Is it now time? Is it freedom for all of us to go about shaking people, eating bushmeat, and throw away this popular hygiene? What do you have to say as regards that?
Well, I would just say that we should watch out, we should not relax, we should maintain the hygienic culture. And then issue of bushmeat, well, if they are going to eat them at all, we should make sure we cook them very, very well. And the process of dressing them, like the fresh ones, if we are going to dress them, let us wear gloves. Once they are well cooked, at high temperature, the virus cannot survive.
Okay.
So it's actually the challenge is where you are processing the fresh one, and when processing, we should wear gloves. If we do that, we will still be able to protect ourselves. But for now, I can say if anybody wants to eat bushmeat, they could. But we should be careful in dressing them. Especially monkey, we should be careful, monkey, bat, we should be careful with those ones specifically. Because they are the ones that actually carry the virus. They
That's
carry
right.
the virus. And to me, let's just keep the culture of hygiene. We should maintain the culture of hygiene. We should watch our borders. At least if we do that, we will be protecting ourselves and protecting our neighbors.
It's all right.
Thank you.
Dr. Adego Kekende, thank you very much for joining us on Call Digest today.
Please, I'm a medical lab scientist. I'm not a medical doctor.
Oh,
I'm a medical laboratory scientist.
you're a medical laboratory scientist.
Research personnel. I'm involved in diagnosis and research.
It's all right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Call Digest.
Okay, thank you.
Well, the big question now is what happens after Nigeria has been declared certified of Ebola virus, and of course free of this deadly virus 42 days after no new case emerged. Of course, you had the doctor speak earlier about one of the major factors that was responsible for our success being our ability to work together across board, irrespective of our political divide, irrespective of our ethnic or religious affiliation. And he also said that if we can carry on with this, if we can put up this attitude into every of our challenge, every of our health challenge, for instance, as a nation, then indeed we would experience more success. It's called Digest Tuesday as we discuss Nigeria's Ebola status. Are we free indeed? In a short while, we'll open the phone lines for you because we want to hear from you and find out what your feelings are in this regards, what you think are the factors are as regards what made it a big success for us as a nation. Now, Patrick Sawyer, the index case who brought Ebola into Nigeria via Lagos, southwest Nigeria. The question also is what contribution did Lagos make to this as a state? But in spite of the certification of Nigeria as Ebola free by the WHO, the Lagos state government has now vowed not to disband existing structure that led to successful containment of the disease. And we're going to play you that report right now. The State Commissioner for Health, Jide Idris, says that the facilities will be maintained to fight a reoccurrence of the virus. I'll leave you with that report, and when we get back, we'll open the phone lines for you to discuss more on this issue. Stick around, don't go away.
As it is now, we will not disband the structure that we put in place. We did not intend to, and we will not, but rather hone on their effectiveness and efficiency. And some of the key factors that helped us, again, in what we did was the political will and support at the highest level of governance, including the governor of this state, again, who played a very active role. Members of the State Executive Council, some of us are here, and others, again, who played their own roles all around. And again, the activity support by the federal government and all the other external agencies who helped us, WHO, CDC, MSF, UNICEF, etc. There were many. It was a collaborative effort.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
I see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on Core TV News.